Hey everybody, today I'm going to cook my first picanha. I've been wanting to do one of these forever. I got this one from wildforkfoods.com out of Oklahoma, and I'm really stoked to see how this thing turns out. So I've already cut it with the grain, and I'm going to cut it across the grain when I serve it. But this is an incredible piece of meat. It's just a little bit above a sirloin cut. And I tell you, man, look at the fat cap on that. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, I'm gonna trim a lot of that off down to about 1/4 inch. But what I'm gonna do is put these on the rotisserie. And I got it here behind me. And typically you cut it and then you fold it into a C like that, and then put the skewer or the spit through it like that. So have you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse and they come by on the spit and they cut it down? Like picanha, I think actually translates to that metal piece thing that goes through the meat. So my Spanish isn't that good, but I'm really looking forward to this. I'm just gonna salt and pepper this. I don't want to put a lot of seasonings on it like I normally do, because I really want to taste the flavor of this meat. Now, I have read that this, if you like your meat medium or hotter, then this is not the cut for you. Okay, this will be a very, very tough piece of meat if you cook it any more than rare or medium rare. So I'm going to shoot for a 125 internal, and that may be too much. We'll see. But anyway, I'm really anxious to get going. So let's get to it. Oh man, look at that. So I pulled it at 125 degrees. That should be between rare, medium, rare, which is how you're supposed to eat this. I wish you could smell of that. Okay, so I'm at my buddy Vince's house. He's got a picanha ready to go. Mine's done. Y'all saw the cook. I cut off the little piece on the end, so it's a little bit more done than traditionally what it's supposed to be. It's usually supposed to be like rare, maybe a little rare plus. But let's see how this tastes. Oh my gosh. That melts in my mouth. And they say if you cook it a little longer than medium rare, it's gonna get tough. But that is cooked perfectly. Salt, pepper only. Good to go. Man, if you've never had picanha, that's the way to do it. Tell me how your cook turned out. Okay, so it's a day after, and I just had to follow up. Vince was kind enough to let me take one of my last pieces of picanha back, and I can't wait for my son to try this. And it was such a great cut. And the piece that I ate yesterday just didn't do this justice, you know? And so I just wanted to, I always learn a few things during my cooks, and I just want to share a few. So first thing I probably would have done is separate the picanha out on the spit, because they were a little close together, but I wanted to make sure they weren't going to just loosely spin, you know, as the meat cooked down. Since this was such a short cook, you're not going to have to worry about that. Okay, so I would have separated them out because I was trying to get the skin, the cap, to really like form this kind of cracklings type of texture. If you're from the South, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so there's that. Oh, and also getting the thing on the spit, like for my Masterbuilt Gravity 560 over here, it's pretty big. It's like that big around, and so I had a hard time, you know, getting it through the fat cap. Yeah, so I just took some kitchen scissors and cut through it, and then it worked fine. Salt and pepper only. That's all you need for this cut. Now my buddy Vince did one. He had, I think he did like a little bit of other seasonings on there, but this cut does not need it. It was so good. So I want to give, oh, and I got a lot of, not only did I get a lot of compliments on the picanha, matter of fact, there was a guy there who goes to Brazil a lot, and he was really judging down on this cook of mine. And when we were leaving, he said, dude, that's about as close as you can get. So that made me feel really good, because I was really nervous, especially when I do a cook for the first time. I want to give a few shout outs. First of all, Jeremy over at Mad Scientist BBQ. He pops up on my YouTube channel all the time, because I'm always on his YouTube channel, but I just didn't know how to cook a picanha. So I want to see how he did it. He referenced another barbecue friend of his, Greg, from Ballistic BBQ, who I also watched his video on his picanha and picked up tips from both of them. But Greg from Ballistic BBQ had given Jeremy permission for an incredible chimichurri. You can get in on that. Now, I'm going to put the recipe on my YouTube channel. What I did, just because I like to do that, I added a little bit of extra stuff to this. And, well, only really one thing. In the video for the pecan, you can see a red bell pepper on one side of my grill that I was roasting for this. On the other side was some corn. And I roasted that corn, cut it, and put it in here. The sweetness of that corn offset the vinegar taste of the chimichurri, and it was awesome. So try it with or without the corn. I don't care. It's good either way. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to Carlos. I had no idea how to cut this thing, and I found his website, and I went there, and he gave an awesome short video on how to cut a picanha. And so just thank you for that video. And so now what I want to do is cut this thing so you can see what it's supposed to really look like, because, oh, dogs running around, because I want you to see how good this thing was. And again, rare, medium rare is what you want to cook this meat to. Otherwise, it will get tough if you overcook it. Yeah, so let's do it. So when I cut the steak, I cut with the grain. Thank you, Carlos, for the cook. But when you serve it, you cut it across the grain. Yeah, so let's take a look. Look at that. So this is the day after. I just pulled it out of the fridge, but you can tell that there was some blood on that when we cut into it. So awesome cut. All right, and that's it. So thank you very much for stopping by. I know the dogs are going crazy here. I know. Every time I get the meat out, they just go nuts. So anyway, thanks again. If you make this cut, or if you have made this cut, and you have any tips to share with anybody, please let us know. If you make it, let us know how it turned out. Thank you.